All right, we turn now to the massive storm system that is rolling across the country, dropping several feet of snow across the plains and the Midwest.
Yeah, more than 31 million Americans are under winter weather alerts, with much of Ohio bracing for intense storms. Damaging winds are blowing through, threatening dangerous tornadoes after a number of tornadoes already tore up the South.
We have NBC News correspondent Shaq Brewster joining us now from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Bundled up, Shaq. Good to see you. We can see how cold it is there. Denver, we know right now, getting hit with its biggest January storm in more than 30 years.
Yeah.
A fresh foot of snow has fallen in parts of Nebraska. Talk about how bad the storm is where you are and what are they expecting to come?
Yeah, truly a massive storm that's impacting so many people. About 30 million people waking up to some weather advisory this morning. Here in Green Bay, you're seeing some lingering precipitation. The biggest concern was the fact that most of the snow was falling during that morning commute and ahead of the morning commute. So that was what was to blame for some of the delays and school cancellations that we saw in this area. But you see, the roads behind me are clear. The city's goal was to clear off the main roads and major arteries by about this time, about the top of this hour, which it looks like they did so far, and they said they're now going off to some of the residential areas. But you mentioned this system is one that impacted so many people. You look in Denver, there was a highway, a major highway that was shut down in that area after a 21-car pileup. There were some drivers that were stranded overnight. If people were flying by air, more than half of the flights that left Denver's airport were delayed yesterday. And then today, the focus is tornadoes and the threat of that severe weather. You're looking at areas like Ohio where they're dealing with the threat of some heavy wind, heavy rain, and that potential tornado threat. We know yesterday in Arkansas, there was a confirmed tornado where they reached wind speeds up to 100 miles an hour. So that is a concern right now in the east. You're getting that rain and wintry mix. This is a massive storm, and it's moving its way quickly across the country.
Yeah, Shaq, we know next week we're going to have some of that here in the eastern half of the country. Several storms actually are going to bring messy conditions, the one you're talking about, as well as others. Tell us about that.
Yeah, you know, one thing our weather unit pointed out is that when one coast of the country is dealing with weather, usually the other coast is spared. Last week, it was the West. You saw California dumped with all that rain. Next week, they're warning that if you look at where systems are going right now, it's potential that on the East Coast, you're going to be dealing with a lot of weather. They think the majority of it is rain, but where the uncertainty comes is with the back half of next week along the I-95 corridor. That's where you can see some of that wintry mix and potential snowfall again as we get later into next week. It's pretty unpredictable right now, but it's a warning that while the East Coast was getting that unseasonably warm temperature, it can turn very quickly.
Absolutely. All right, Shaq Brewster, who's got his winter wardrobe on lock. Look at that. Thanks, Shaq. Stay warm.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.